What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on the Vigor Hero channel. It's your boy Cisco, and today we're going to be talking about the power of just saying no. And so you're probably wondering, oh, power of just saying no, how does that work out? Just give me a second. I'll go ahead and explain. We can talk about it. But before we do that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Comment down below what you thought of the video, and go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It helps get on the algorithm, so I really appreciate it. But let's go ahead and just get right into it. So when it first comes to just saying no, right? First thing that comes to mind is self-respect. Why does saying no bring to mind self-respect? So if you really think about it, if you go and we get a bunch of energy from doing semen retention, we're using it to, better ourselves, get our mind right, get our body right, and conquering ourselves, achieving goals, everything like that, which is awesome. But if we're going and people are asking us, and asking things of us and trying to pull us in all different directions and everything like that, and we're not saying no, and we're becoming just pretty much like a yes man, we're getting pulled in all different directions to where, at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I don't even have time to be able to really focus on myself or to really be able to do anything for myself because I'm helping out so many other people. And while that's great, while that is awesome, that's a really noble thing of you to want to be able to help others. I love helping others as well. It brings me great joy. And I try and do it as much as possible when I'm able to. Keyword able to. But at the same time, I also say no because I have respect for myself. I respect my time. I respect what I have to do to be able to push myself forward. It's kind of like if you think about the analogy of like with the glass half full or, glass half empty, however you want to think about it. But pretty much, if your glass is barely full, how are you supposed to be able to pour your water into other people's glasses to help others when your glass doesn't even have water in it itself, right? So when it comes down to it, as far as just saying no, people are going to ask things of you. People are going to want your attention. People are going to want your energy because, like we've talked about, energy is a big thing on semen retention. People just want to be able to experience it because it's like they just look at you and they're like, there's just something different about that person. And so they're going to want that. They're going to want attention, like I said, attention, energy, having you do things for them, helping them out, things like that. But at the end of the day, if you have self-respect for yourself, if you respect your time, you respect what you got to do, you respect your goals and what you're trying to accomplish, you can just say no. There's no problem with saying no. Just be like, hey, I wish I could help, but I got to do X, Y, Z, or hey, just can't right now. I'm busy or I'm, booked up or whatever. So I'm sorry, I can't. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's actually a power in doing that, which leads me to my next point. There's a power in saying no. And if you really think about it, when it comes down to semen retention and, battling, PMO, looking at the websites, trying to restrain from lust, trying to restrain from fornicating and everything like that. If you really, really think about it and you break it down to its pretty much most simplest form, it's just a lot of no's stacked up. Okay. So at the end of the day, if I'm going and recently I did a fast, and the reason why I did the fast is not just because of, lust and everything like that, but I really wanted to cleanse myself and I really wanted to challenge my mind and I wanted to grow closer to God. And so I was in my word, I was praying all through the fast and everything. And right as soon as I finished that fast, I got a bunch of lustful thoughts. I, had the urge to want to go and check out the websites and, play with myself and all that stuff. And when you really think about it, as long as you just say no, it has no power over you. If you just say no, it can't get to you. Obviously I prayed and I asked for strength, but I also asked that, it be removed from me because I'm renewed and, everything like that, as far as the fast and everything like that, which can be a whole nother video in itself, which I actually might make next video, or we'll see about that. But as far as saying no, when you really think about it, it comes down to it, it's just a bunch of small no's stacked up. As far as with, restraining from your lustful thoughts, restraining from, looking at the websites and, touching yourself and all that stuff, if you just say no, it has no power over you. You continue on, you move forward and everything like that. So that's why there is power in saying no when it comes down to it with semen retention, right? The other thing is that it not only helps you with, just that and being able to say no, but it also helps with your discipline. It helps with your mindset. If you stack a bunch of these up, it's almost like how do I want to explain this? It's like I don't necessarily know if they call it the stacking method, but I would consider it the stacking method. It's in the book Atomic Habits. So if you haven't read that, a phenomenal book, highly recommend. But pretty much just talking about how like you do one thing and then you stack it with another, you stack it with another. Before you know it, when you look back, you have like 3 things done, and then you can reward yourself to be able to get into the habit of doing the things that you need to do and what you're supposed to do. I haven't read the book in a while, but I think that's how it goes. Definitely don't quote me. Go read the book for yourself, just that way you can get more than what I'm just explaining in this video. But as far as the stacking method, it will help build your confidence, and it will help build your discipline when it comes to saying no. Because the more you say no to, whether it's going out to, party, whether it's going out to hang out with friends, whether it's going out to, out to eat or whatever, meanwhile you're on a diet. Like currently right now I'm prepping to do my very first bodybuilding show. So that's something to where I'm not necessarily close enough to where I'm like super strict on my diet. I can have like 1 cheat meal a week, but it is something to where I can't just go all out and, have a cheat meal every day and, hit my macros 80% of the time and then 20% of the time cheating and everything. So, I have to say no to certain things, especially with Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything like that. All the holidays coming up, a lot of good food's going to be around. But either way, I digress from that. Main point is that when you say no to things, you're building your confidence, you're building your discipline when it comes to saying no. So with that being said, right, when it's saying no to like going out with friends, if you're not going out with friends, now again, I don't want this to be taken out of proportion or out of context. Of course, there's always a consequence for an action. If you don't go and lean into, relationships, you're not going to have any relationships. You're not going to have, friends and things like that if you don't lean in and water the plants or water the growth of relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's romantic, whether it's with family, things like that. You're not going to be able to help them grow. So with that being said, I'm not saying just say no all the time, but at the same time, understand that if you say no the majority of the time, it's not wrong to say no. It's not wrong to go and just say, hey, either I can't do that or I don't want to do that, and I'm saying no to doing it. So with that being said, if you're saying no to going out and partying, right, what you are saying no, yes, and you may feel bad because it's like, oh, I want to go hang out and party and stuff like that. But if you think about it on the back end of it, from you not partying is, maybe there's alcohol involved, so you're having a few drinks. You may not feel the best when you wake up in the morning, meaning that you're not going to hit the gym. Or if you have a drunken night, you may go and, get some food that's not, in your macros for the body that you're working towards, or, the goals that you're trying to hit as far as fitness wise. And so it all stacks up. There's many ways that you can stack, whether it's positive or negative. And so that's why with the power of saying no, you're able to stack those positive wins and stack those positive discipline actions, and using it for good, right? So at the end of the day, power of saying no helps you with 1, self-respect, 2, building those wins as far as discipline, and 3, you're not just dispersing your energy amongst every little thing, right? You're honing in, you're using your energy for what you need to use it for. And if you have energy left over to be able to give to others, then by all means, disperse that energy to be able to help others, give to others, water the relationships that you have and everything like that. And again, I don't want this to be taken out of proportion. Like obviously if you have kids or if you have a romantic partner, wife, whatever, like obviously you want to water that, you want to give into that, but at the same time, you can always say no. It's not bad to say no. Just like if you have kids, you understand this. There's times where, your kid will ask for something and you will say, hey, no, I don't believe that that's good for you. So no, you're not going to have that, or no, I'm not going to buy that for you, or no, you can't do that for X, Y, and Z, So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, guys, there is a power in saying no. I'm not saying say no to every single thing, but understand that by saying no, you build your confidence, you build your discipline, you have more water in your cup to be able to help water others, and you will have self-respect for yourself, to which in that case will then exude to other people, and other people will have respect for you because you respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, people won't respect you. So yeah, that's it for this one. It's probably a little bit of a shorter one, but I just wanted to be able to get this out. I hate that it gets so dark so early. I wish I had more time in the day to be able to make videos when it's light out. I may start doing it early in the morning. So we'll see what happens with that. But I hope this video was useful and insightful. Go ahead and comment down below what you thought of it. If you've experienced this, or if you've started to say no more, I definitely would love to hear about it. And catch you guys in the next one. Peace.